You have definitely seen the images. Millions of people all focused on this single black cube in Mecca. It's one of the most iconic sites in the world, and honestly, it leads to one of the biggest questions people have about Islam. So today, we're going to get right to the bottom of it, using some simple logic and a really fascinating piece of history. Let's dive in. So let's just put the question right out there, because it's probably something you've wondered yourself when you see those images of millions of people all praying in the same direction. Do Muslims actually worship the Kaaba? And the answer is just as direct and simple. No, absolutely not. See, in Islam, a core belief is that worship is for one being and one being only, the one formless God known as Allah. The Kaaba itself, it isn't worshipped in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. That answer immediately brings up some pretty logical follow-up questions, right? If it's not an object of worship, then why is it so important? Why do over 1 billion people face it every single day when they pray? And what's with the circling during the pilgrimage? Let's break that down.
So the first and most important idea you have to grasp is that the Kaaba's main job, its whole purpose, isn't about being a deity. It's about creating unity. There's actually a specific word for this in Islam, Qibla, and all that word means is direction. The Kaaba was chosen to be the Qibla, this one central, unifying point for every single Muslim on the planet to face when they pray. I mean, just think about what it would be like without it for a second. You'd have total chaos, right? Some people praying north, others south, east, west. Any sense of a single global community would just dissolve. But with the Kaaba as the Qibla, a Muslim in Canada and another one in Japan are spiritually connected, facing that one center. It's a really powerful physical symbol of their unity. Now, if you're still thinking, okay, the unity part makes sense, but it still looks a lot like worship, well, let's jump into a pretty powerful piece of history that makes the difference crystal clear. All right, so picture the scene. We're in Mecca, right after it was peacefully entered by the Prophet Muhammad and his followers. This is a huge, pivotal moment in Islamic history. So at this key moment, the Prophet tells one of his closest companions, a man named Bilal, to give the azan, the call to prayer. But here's the kicker. He tells him to do it from the roof of the Kaaba. So Bilal literally climbs on top of the very building we're talking about. And this leads us to the most critical question of all. Just think about it. Can you imagine anyone from any faith, any tradition, placing their feet on top of their God, standing on their sacred idol or their object of worship? Of course not. It's completely unthinkable. And that one historical event just brilliantly proves the point. The fact that Bilal stood on the Kaaba is, for Muslims, the ultimate proof that it's just a building, a very important building, made of stone, a focal point, but not a god. Okay, so that explains why Muslims face the Kaaba. But what about that other major ritual you always see, the circling of it during the Hajj pilgrimage? Well, this ritual actually builds on that very same idea of having a single central focus. This ritual is known as tawaf, and it's probably one of the most recognizable parts of the pilgrimage, where you see millions of people moving together in this incredible circular motion around the Kaaba. The whole thing here is about symbolism. It has nothing to do with worshiping the building. Think about it like this. A circle, by its very nature, can only have one single center point. The tawaf is a physical metaphor for that idea. It's a reminder that a believer's life should have only one spiritual center, the one God. Everything they do, their entire life, should revolve around him. The Kaaba is just the physical marker for that powerful idea. All right, there's one more common point of confusion we should clear up. It comes from a title the Kaaba is often given, the House of Allah. Now, that can sound pretty misleading, so let's clarify what that actually means. Calling it the House of Allah is what's known as an honorific title. It's a term of respect, a way of saying this place is special, it's dedicated to the worship of the one God. It's not meant to be a literal address, as if God is inside paying bills. And this makes perfect sense when you understand the basic Islamic concept of God. In Islam, God is believed to be formless, without a body. He's beyond our concepts of time and space. So an all-powerful being like that would have absolutely no need for a physical house made of stone and mortar. The title is purely about reverence. So let's just bring it all home with this final, super important distinction. Muslims have deep respect for the Kaaba. They honor it as a sacred symbol, as the first house ever built to worship the one God, and as their center of unity.
But worship? No. Worship is reserved only for the creator of the heavens and the earth, the one who made the Kaaba, and you and me. And that pretty much wraps it up. We've seen that the Kaaba isn't an object of worship at all, but instead it's this incredibly powerful symbol of direction and unity, which kind of leaves us with one final thought to chew on. In a world that so often feels divided, why are powerful, unifying symbols like this, in any culture or faith, so important for bringing people together?